Rutgers University and Newark Mayor Ras Baraka turning their attention this week to an issue that is more dramatic in the Brick City than anywhere else in the country. Large corporations buying thousands of 1 to 4 family homes, and that's putting the squeeze on the middle class. News 12's Brian Donahue on the streets where it was not hard to find concerned residents.
So they're taking this money, they're flipping it, and they're buying everything in the neighborhood.
Up and down the block here on Columbia Avenue in Newark's Vailsburg section, you hear different versions of the same story from everybody. Q Little sees local residents wanting to buy a home, but unable to compete with deep-pocketed buyers flush with cash.
And they're charging $3,000-$4,000 to rent out these homes. And I just think it sucks for the people who are actually from here.
And Edward DeBarros, who now pays his ever-rising rent to an anonymous corporation he says is slow to respond to problems like the broken front doorknob.
Supposed to submit an email, and they add it onto a work order, and maybe a couple months later a guy comes by and looks at it. Maybe.
And Walter Brahan, who keeps getting letters and visits from people working for corporations looking to buy the home his family has owned since 1972.
We're going to be selling them, but soon.
It's all part of a phenomenon detailed in a paper by 2 Rutgers University professors this week entitled "Who Owns Newark?" about the explosion in home purchases by large anonymous corporations. Between 2017 and 2020, researchers found 47% of all sales of 1 to 4 family residential homes were made by institutional buyers operating under names like Adar Capital or Harness Homes Group and using opaque limited liability corporations. That's a 3-fold increase since 2010.
Is far and away leading the nation in this disturbing trend.
David Trout, who co-authored the report for the Rutgers Center on Law, Inequality, and Metropolitan Equity, says this squeezes renters with ever-rising rents and shuts prospective middle-class buyers completely out of the home buying game.
Where investor buyers are coming in and buying exactly the homes that you and I would think of as being the basis for family intergenerational wealth and housing stability.
Back on Columbia Avenue, though, nobody needs an academic report by the local university to learn what's going on. Everybody's living it.
I just came home and I had an investor just ask me, do you own your house? Would you be willing to sell it?
Ask plumber Herb Williams. He and his wife live in a home that has been in her family for years. They recently tried to buy this home around the corner. They were outbid by a corporation.
We used to want those people to own their own homes. Now investors want them to be paying rent, in perpetuity. That's really an inversion of the American dream.
Brian Donahue, News 12, New Jersey.
Mayor Ras Baraka issuing this statement on this report saying, quote, in cities and suburbs across America, institutional investors are eroding the American dream of home ownership. His office says he will announce a series of measures tomorrow to mitigate the effects of this trend.